Hi everyone, today we are looking at PSLE 2018 paper. Now, the first question that I want to look at is actually question number 14. Okay, because question number 14 seems like a difficult question. Now, so when I look at this question, it says that rectangle ACEF. Now, when I see ACEF, what I want to do is I want to make sure, okay, I highlight ACEF. So I know that this is what I'm looking at. Okay, it's made up of two rectangles and two squares. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is, of course, to read the next part of the sentence. It says that BC is equals to 2 cm. So BC is equals to 2 cm, so 2 cm is over here. In a measurement question, your job as a student is to make sure you write down every single measurement. Okay, and CD is actually equals to 3 cm. Okay, if you know that this is 3 cm, then you must say that this is also 3 cm. If you know that this is 2 cm, you must also say that this is 2 cm. Okay, now once you are done with this, right, you can also do something called mirror image. So if this is 2 cm, follow my cursor. If this is 2 cm, this has to be 2 cm. And if this is 2 cm, this has to be 2 cm. Okay, so now what is the question asking us to do? The requirement is this, is that they want you to find a fraction of the rectangle ACEF that is shaded. So basically, what should be in your mind is basically shaded over the total. Okay, shaded over the total. Okay, so what is it that I want to do first? The first thing I want to do is definitely to find out what is the total. Okay, the total is basically ACEF. Okay, the total is basically ACEF. So here's what I will do. Okay, I will find the area of the whole figure, all right, by actually doing this. Okay, I will first find the area of this whole thing. All right, I'll find the area of this whole thing. So that is basically 2 times 3 times 2. Right? Because why times 2? Because I have two rectangles. Can you see two rectangles? Then I'm going to add the square. All right, now, so if this is a square, isn't it true that DE is also equals to 2 cm? Now, after that, you are going to do 2 times 2, then you are going to times 2 as well. So when you do this, what happens is that you will get to a very nice denominator of 20. So we know that this is our denominator. All right, so you settle your denominator first, okay? Now, once you are done with this, right, what you want to do next is, of course, okay, to make sure that you find the area of the shaded parts. Okay, so when I look at the shaded parts, what I would like to do, in fact, I always tell this to my students, right, that you have to break it down into shapes that you are familiar with. When I look at this shape, there's one shape that I'm very used to, which is this shape. We call it A. Let's give it a name. All right, now, what you can see over here is that the base is actually 2 and the height is actually 3. True? So we are going to write down the area of triangle A. We will say that this is half times the base times the height. So that gives me 3 cm squared. And then followed by, of course, my second shape, which is B. Okay, now in fact, what I want to do is I want to highlight the whole part for you to see, okay? I'm actually looking at this whole triangle. If you can't see, pro tip to all of you who are sitting PSLE, sketch it out. You understand what I'm saying? Oh my goodness, my sketch is horrible. Wait, let me just try again. Okay, what can you do? You sketch it out. Okay, so let me just sketch it out. Okay, so this is B, this is F. Can you all see that? I'm looking at it as a whole, okay? Now you can see that this is my base, which happens to be 3. And what is my height? Remember, every time it is a slanted triangle, you have to refer to the straight height. And this is the height. Okay, in case those of you who do not know, right? So from here itself, I know already the triangle B's area will then be half times 3 times 2, which will give me 6. Half of 6, that gives me 3 centimeters squared as well. Okay, I hope this is something that you are clear about. Okay, so once this is done, okay, what are you going to do next? Of course, they want you to find the fraction of rectangle ACEF that is shaded. So once this is done, what you are going to do is, since you know that the shader is 3 plus 3, we are going to write 3 plus 3, and therefore 6 over 20 is my answer. Of course, you want to simplify it. As you simplify it, what happens is that you will get to 3 over 10, and therefore your answer for this question has to be option number 3. And today we are looking at question 25. Now, when I see a question like that, okay, of course, the first thing I want to do is I want to say, okay, that two whole numbers, the word add up means I have to add, right, is equals to 1037. Okay, now once I'm done with this, right, I want to read the next part. Oh my goodness. Why? Because I see the word difference. Whenever I think about the word difference, I need to know that I need to draw a model. What kind of model? A comparison model. Okay, so my first number and my second number should look something like this. Why? Because the first number must be bigger than the second number. If the first number is not bigger than the second number, or if the first number is the same as the second number, then there is no difference. And they want the smallest difference. Let me ask you a question. The smaller difference has to be 1, isn't it? Right? So we know that the total is 1037, isn't it? So we know that this is 1 unit, this is also 1 unit. Right? So what can I do? I can quickly find out what is my Mr. Green Man. Right? So 1037 minus away 1, you get to 1036. And when you do 1036 divided by 2, why 2? Because 1037, you remove away this, you are left with 2 units, isn't it? So 2 units is, sorry, I apologize. That should be 1 unit. Maybe I can just write down that 2 units is equals to 1036. What I want to do now is I want to find 1 unit. So 1036 divided by 2, that gives me 518. So they want you to find what is the smallest difference, and that is 1. What are the numbers? First thing first, I have 518 over here. So I write down my first number, or second, whatever, doesn't matter. And then the second one will be 518 plus 1, which is equals to 519. Okay, and this is 519. Hi everyone, today we are looking at question number 26. Now, as you can see over here, it says that Sally had 40 stamps. Now, don't worry about what is the question asking. Worry about whether if you are able to, understand what kind of processes are you going to write. So we are going to write down that Sally is equals to 40. All right, Ting is equals to 32. Now, when I see sentence number 2, I realize that Sally is giving to Ting. The first concept that comes to my mind when it comes to this is internal transfer, because I know Sally is giving to Ting. So this is what? Exchange in between, right? Exchange between them, right? So if I know that this is internal transfer, I must also remember that that means the total doesn't change. Then, in sentence number 3, it says that the number of stamps Sally and Ting had were in the ratio of 1:2. So if the ratio is in this case, the total is 3 units. And did you realize that 3 units, it is still 40 plus 32? Okay, all right. Why is that so? Because the total doesn't change. Now, we want to write down 1 unit. Okay, Mr. Green Man, Mr. Green Man, Mr. Green Man. And when I have my Mr. Green Man, I know I am halfway there. Once I'm done with this, read the question. The question says, how many stamps did Ting have in the end? In the end, cast your eyes onto this part, right? And you realize that it is 2 units. So therefore, 2 units is actually equals to 48. How did I get 48? 24 times 2. Okay, so when I look at this question, right, the first thing I want to do is, of course, I want to break down my sentences, okay? Now, this is obviously what I call a fraction with units question, okay? If you have attended my P4 lesson, you will know I talk about this a lot, okay? Now, we know that Nora used 1/5 kg of flour to make muffins. So muffins is actually goes to 1/5 kg. Followed by sentence number 2, 1/2 kg of flour to make cookies. So cookies is equals to half a kg. All right. And then what is it? She is left with 360 grams. Okay, so this is the first part. Okay. Now, as you can see over here, right, the units are all different. So what I want to do, I want to quickly change everything into grams, right? Because I feel that that's easier. Now, so what I can do is this, since it is 1/5 kg, I know this 1/5 kg confuses people a lot. So what I tell them is, don't worry, just change it into grams first. How do you change to grams? You times 1000, right? Now, so when you do 1/5 times 1000, you get to 200 grams. And for this, it's the same thing, all right? 1/2 kg, this is pretty obvious, this is 500 grams. And for L itself, which is the amount that was left, we do not have to do anything. Since they are asking us for add first, what do we have to do? We have to just basically add everything up together, and you will get to 1060 gram, and you want to change this to kg because the question asks for kg. And same thing, when you want to change to kg, you have to divide by 1000. When I divide by 1000, what happens? I have 3 zeros, so I want to move 1, 2, 3. So therefore, it's 1.06 kg. And therefore, this is your answer for this question. Jasmine formed 2 cuboids with unit cubes. Okay, so nothing much to do. I can move on to sentence number 2. The length, the breadth, and the height of the bigger cuboid. I think one thing that I wanted to point out to you is the word cuboid. When I see the word cuboid, I need to be very, very, very alert. Why? Because the word cuboid means L, B, and H. They are all the same. Okay, so we have a bigger cuboid, and I know that my bigger cuboid, right, is actually 2 times those of the smaller cuboid. What does that mean? It means that my bigger cuboid's measurement is always 2 times more than the smallest cuboid's measurement. When the bigger cuboid's length is 2 units, the smallest cuboid length will be 1 unit. When the breadth of the bigger cuboid is 2 units, the breadth of the smaller cuboid will be 1 unit. When the height of the bigger cuboid is 2 units, the height of the smaller cuboid will be 1 unit. Now, then we move on to sentence number 3, right? It says that she used 384 cubes to form the cuboid. Now, this one over here is basically talking or telling you it is the volume. All right. So what you want to do is, of course, you find the volume using units by doing 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, when you do that, definitely you get to 8 units. And you know, all right, that the value 8 units is actually equals to 384. Find Mr. Greenman and you get to 48. All right, so you get to 48. Now, of course, once you are done with this, you can read the question, right? They ask you how many unit cubes did she use to form the smaller cuboid. So in other words, right, they're asking you for the volume. Okay, so the volume of the smaller cuboid is basically 1 times 1 times 1, which is also 1. So therefore, my answer for this question has to be 48 unit cubes. Hi everyone, today we are looking at a question like this. Now, as you can see over here, it says that 2 rectangular mats, each 6 meter by 4 meter. Okay, so we can see that this is the rectangular mat. Okay, so let me just, maybe you can use my cursor. All right, as you can see over here, this is my rectangular mat. Okay, they are placed on the floor of a rectangular room as shown. Okay, and this is the rectangular room. I need you to know which is the rectangular room. It's actually anywhere from here, down, here, up. Okay, so this is the rectangular room. The rectangular maps are basically the ones inside. Okay, the rectangular maps are basically the ones inside. So now this is confusing because a lot of people, a lot of students, they are not able to see this as a cube. They are not able to see this as the mat. All right, they are not able to see this as the rectangular mat. So this is the one rectangular mat followed by the second rectangular mat, which is the one over here. All right, the one over here. So this is the second rectangular mat. So if I may just sketch it out. So sometimes, right, you are not able to see it clearly. What you can do is you can sketch it out. Okay, this is one of it. All right, and followed by the other one that is like that. Okay, of course, they are overlapping. So if I know that this is 6 meters, right, and this is 4 meters, isn't it true to say that this is 4 meters and this whole thing is actually 6 meters? And when that happens, right, you want to make sure you write down everything that you can, all right? So this is 4 meters as well. Okay, now the question says that the mats overlap. So which is the overlapping part? The overlapping part is this part that I have just highlighted or shaded. Okay, this is the part that I've just highlighted or shaded. Okay, so we know that this is 4 meter. Now, then they tell us that the area of the floor covered by the overlap is 5.2 meters square. And if that is the area, I can actually find my breadth. So I'm going to find the breadth of the overlapping part. Okay, so I'm going to find the breadth of the overlapping part, which is 5.2 divided by 4. Okay, which is 5.2 divided by 4. And when I do that, I get to 1.3 meters. Okay, so where is 1.3 meters? You quickly want to note it down, you know, in your diagram. You know that this is 1.3 meters. Okay, that is 1.3 meters. Now, if you see that that is 1.3 meters, I tell my students this, right? Try your best, okay, to mirror image. If this is 1.3, follow my cursor. If this is 1.3, isn't it true to say that this part here, this small little part here is also equals to 1.3? Okay, all right. Now, so once you have that, right, you can also find out what is this. You can also find out what is this. All right, from there itself, right, I can say that this part here is simply just 6 meters minus away 1.3 meters, and that gives me 4.7 meters. Okay, so 4.7 meters. I just want to remind you, right, the question wants us to find the area that is not covered by the mat. Which is that part? I'm going to put a question mark. This is the one that I want. And because they want us to find the area, I need to make sure that I have my length and my breadth. And I actually got my length already because my length is basically whatever that is over here. Right? So my length over here is simply 4.7 meters. Okay, so once you have that, right, what do you want to do? You want to, of course, move on to find out what is the breadth. Okay, so if you want, you can also sketch it out so that you have a better view. All right, I always encourage students to sketch it out. Now what I need is actually this one over here. So I put a question mark here, which is the one over here, right? This part over here. Now, so whenever they ask for a horizontal line, then you learn how to look horizontally. When they ask for vertically, you look vertically. Remember just now I asked for, or in fact, the question asked us for this, right? So that is vertical, which is the length. I look vertical. That's why I look opposite. That's why I look opposite, if you can follow my cursor. Okay, so now this part over here is basically horizontal. You look horizontally, you realize that the whole thing is 6 meters. Can you see that? So this green part over here has to be 6 meters minus away 4 meters, and that gives me 2 meters. All right, so I know that this is 2 meters. Now, with that in mind, of course, I have all of the measurements. I can find the area of the floor that is not covered by the mat. So therefore, it's 4.7 times 2. When I do that, I get to an answer, a very beautiful answer, okay, of 9.4 meter square. Today, we are looking at this question. Now, over here, you can see that Ken had $15 more than Lisa at first. So Ken had $15 more. Now, I always tell my students, numbers always on the outside. So $15 is over here. Lisa will be here, all right, from here all the way to here. And this is how I would draw my model. Okay, now, once I'm done with this, of course, I want to move on to sentence number 2, right? Now, it says that after Ken gave some of his money to Lisa, which I don't know how much is it, he, as in Ken, had $21 less than Lisa. Okay, so if that is the case, right, it means that Ken has given everything from here to Lisa. And this I know is how much? $15. So for this, you don't have to draw the arrow. But $15 is not enough because Ken had $21 less than Lisa, which means to say, since $15 is not enough, something has to go out from here, which I don't know how much is it. Now, but what I can do is I can say that this comes all the way to here, right? So this goes all the way to here. All right, and we will say that we will mirror image down, okay, and we will say that this whole thing here is basically $21. So this is gone. All right, this one is transferred to Lisa. Okay, so we want to plug in the figures. So $15 over here. Now, as you can see over here, if this is 1 unit, follow my cursor. If this is the same as this, isn't this the same as this? So you can simply find out what is this and this very easily, right? Because all you need to do is simply just, okay, $21 minus $15, and that gives me $6. And then after that, we have to divide by 2 simply because they are the same. Okay, so this is $3, and then over here we have $3. Over here we also write $3. Now, the question is asking how much money did Ken give to Lisa? So the amount of money that Ken gave to Lisa is basically whatever that is over here plus whatever that is over here. Okay, so Ken actually gave $15 plus $3, and that gives me $18, and $18 is given to Lisa. Now, hi everyone. Today, as you can see over here, it says that the pattern on the tile ABCD, all right, ABCD shows 3 overlapping squares of different sizes. AF is equals to FE. So allow me to zoom in a little bit. AF is equals to FE, all right? So here's how to do it. If AF is equals to FE, I can say that this is 1 unit, this is 1 unit. All right, so that's the first thing that I want to do. And if this is 1 unit, this is 1 unit, I can move on to the next part. It says that AE, which is the whole thing, is equals to EB. So that means this is 2 units. All right, so that means this is 2 units. Okay, now because this is a square, what is a square? A, B, C, D is a square. A, B, C, D. So you know that 2 plus 1 plus 1, that is 2, 3, 4, right? So that is 4 units. So you can write 4 units over here, 4 units over here, and 4 units over here. Okay, now just now at the start of my video, I told you this, right? That it will be best if you can make all into shapes that you are familiar with. I think that will be the best way to go about this. So when you do this, you realize that the total number of small little squares I can have in this shape ABCD is actually 4 times 4. Therefore, the total is actually 16. That is the total. Okay, now then we read the question. The question says, what fraction of the tile ABCD is shaded? So you can see, right? Shaded over the total is equals to, what is my shaded? My shaded is basically excluding the unshaded, right? My total I know is 16, right? So my shaded is 13. So therefore, your answer for this question has to be 13 over 16. Now, so once I'm done with A, right, what I want to do is I want to go on to B. Now, the good thing about B is this, is that figure Y, which is this figure over here, all right, read the question, is made up of 4 such tiles. What is the 4 such tiles? They are referring to these 4 tiles combining together. And when they are combined, they form something that looks like this. Now, just now, right, in the earlier part, right, you remember how I split them up into shapes that I'm familiar with? I am also going to do the same thing. Okay, I'm also going to do the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with this part. Okay, I'm going to start off with this part. I'm going to start off with this part. I'm going to start off with this part. All right, I'll lay out all of these lines first. Okay, so that it will be easier for me to draw. Okay, once I have this, right, I'm going to make sure that this part is also drawn out. Okay, this part is also drawn out. 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 And very soon you'll see my masterpiece coming out. So this is also drawn. This is also drawn. Okay, am I missing anything? For sure, right? From here all the way down. All the way down. All right. Then after that, we have from here all the way down. Okay. We have everything from here to here. We have everything from here all the way to that side. We have this all the way to that side. Now then, if you're wondering, but teacher Joseph, how do you know they are all the same? Now, do you realize that they are all made up of 4 such squares? What do I mean? They are made up of this. And just now we have calculated that it is actually 16. So that means in each of the square, there must be 16 small boxes. The area of the unshaded part of figure Y is 81 cm square. Now, where exactly is the unshaded part of figure Y? We know that the unshaded part of figure Y is basically, as you can see over there, the unshaded part, right? So the whole thing, figure Y, right? So they are telling you that the area of that is 81 centimeters square, right? So what I want to do first, of course, okay, since I know this is a square, I can actually find the measurements. Okay, I can actually find the measurements. So what I can confidently do is that whatever that is from here all the way to here is 9. Whatever that is from here all the way to here is 9. Why is that so? Because that is the area of the unshaded part, right? Because 9 times 9 gives me 81. Okay, so now what you can do now is this. Okay, now what you can see, you can see for yourself, right? That the unshaded part, how many squares are there in total? Okay, over here, what we can write down is that the total number of squares, we'll write down the total number of squares will then be 8 times 8. okay, will then be 8 times 8, which will give me 64. Okay, once I'm done with this, I can write down, okay, I can write down that for my unshaded ones, okay, 12 squares in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 squares in total. And 12 squares is actually equals to 81 centimeter square. So we are going to find our 1 square, which will give me 6.75 centimeters square. Once I'm done with this, I have settled my unshaded part, right? The question says, I want you to find the total area of the shaded parts, which is the ones excluding the unshaded part, right? So let's ask ourselves, how many shaded squares do I have in total? Okay, now I know that my total shaded, right, total number of squares is 64. So I just have to minus away 12. I get to 52. Where did I get this 12? This 12 is basically the unshaded squares. Okay, so therefore, all I need to do is to just find 52. I will do 6.75 times 52, and I will get to an answer of 351 centimeter square. Hi everyone, today we are looking at a question like this. Now, as you can see over here, it says that Mr. Tan packed 508 cards into large and small boxes to sell. He filled each large box with 20 tarts. So over here, there are 20 tarts. And the small box with 12 tarts. Now, Mr. Tan wants to do something. Mr. Tan says that all the boxes were full and there was no tart left over. Mr. Tan wants us to find out what is the least number of boxes he should use. And I trust that most of you know what you are going to do. Because if I want the least number of boxes, I need to use the most number of large boxes. And do remember that you should not have a remainder because there will be no tart left over. So when a question like this happens, right, what you want to do is this. You want to use the most number of large boxes. That means you only want to use one small box. Okay, so what you are going to do is maybe you can even, draw a table out. All right, you can say, okay, you can draw a table. All right, you can do this as the total. Because you are just going to use one small box, right? So we are going to just minus away that 12. Because I know that my total is, what's my total? 508. Okay, and if I'm going to minus 12, right, I will get to, okay, if I minus 12, 508 minus 12, I will get to 496. So I minus 12 already, I get to 496. Now, then the question I need to ask myself, right, is how many large boxes, so this is the big boxes, can I... Or is 496 a multiple of 20? Because I do not want any left over. So when I do 496 divided by 20, I get to 24.8. This is wrong. So what I'm going to do next is, again, my total is still the same. Okay. Now what happens is this, I now, because you see, if I'm just going to use one small box, right, then the rest of the tarts, right, cannot be packed into my large box without a leftover. Okay, if I were to use just one small box, right, then I pack the rest into my large box, I will have a leftover. So it doesn't meet to the criteria. So now I'm going to try two. I'm going to try two small box. You get what I'm trying to say, right? I'm going to try two small box. So 508 minus 24, right? We get to 484. Now, we ask ourselves, is 484 a multiple of 20? No, because you get to 24.2. But you realize that we are getting closer and closer. So cannot. Okay, next one. Try another one. 508. Now, two small boxes also cannot. One small box also cannot. So try three small boxes. That gives me minus 36. Okay, so 508 minus 36. We get to 472. And then we divide by 20. We also don't get a very nice number. 508. Try the fourth one. I'm going to try 4 small boxes. 12 times 4, that is minus 48. All right, 508 minus 48, we get to 460. And fortunately, when I do 460 divided by 20, we get to 23 large boxes. Okay, so what are they trying to tell us? The question is trying to tell us this, okay, that this person, for the 508 parts, this person is going to use 23 large or 23 big, and also how many? 4 small. I say that again, 4 small. But teacher Joseph, how do you get 4 small? Okay, now we remember just now the minus 48 that I've done over here. This minus 48, okay, is basically 48 small parts, right? So you can simply do 48 divided by 12 and you get to 4 small boxes. All right, therefore the total number, right, the least amount of boxes that Mr. Tan will use is 27. Today we are looking at a question like this. Now, whenever it is a bar graph question, what you want to do is you want to, write in the value. So this is 100, this is 200. Okay, so how do I know how much is that? Now, that is definitely, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So from here to here is 50, right? So 50, okay, divided by 5 is equals to 10. That means to say every bunny hop, every jump is 10. So 10, 20. So therefore, this is 370. Okay, now for this is 210. For this is 280. Okay, now for A, I will not cover because A is very simple. They will just want you to find the average. So I believe this is something that you should be able to do. Now, but it is for B that it is B that is a little confusing. Now for A itself, right, the answer is 234. Okay, I believe most of you, or in fact all of you here can find that part. Now for B itself, right, it says that the average number of visitors on Saturday and Sunday, okay, so we write down Saturday and Sunday was 16 more. All right, how much more? 16 more. When I see the word more, I need to make sure I DAM. Okay, all right, 16 more than the average of, okay, then the average, so M to F. All right, so this is the part. Now, do you realize that just now we actually found that 234 is actually the average? All right, for Monday to Friday, right? That is the answer in A, right? So when I know that this is 234, I need to mirror image up. So I know that, okay, that the average, so we write down over here, the average for Saturday and Sunday will now then be 234 plus 16, which is equals to 250. Now, but this is the average. What do I always tell you? I tell you, every time you are given average and you are given to the number, you quickly find your total. So I know my total number of visitors for Saturday and Sunday is basically 250 times 2, which gives me 500. Now, typical question, I've seen this happening a lot of times. Students always ask me, but teacher Joseph, how am I supposed to know what is possible, one set of possible value? The good news I have for you is this: any possible set of value that will give you a sum of 500. So for me, right, I like to do this. I like to just say 200 and 300. That's it. Okay? If say Akin decided to put 210 and 290, also correct. If Lena decided to put 220 and 280, also correct. And had a total of 285 red and blue bits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down R plus B is equals to 285. This is sentence number 1. Okay, so once this is done, right, what I want to do is I want to move on to sentence number 2. All right, now in sentence number 2, right, in sentence number 2, it tells me that she used 45 red beads. So when I see something like this, I know that this is a B and A question. And Avi will be singing B and A. So what I like to do is I like to draw a table. Okay, I like to draw a table. And I like to do one thing, which is I like to say that this is red and then this is blue. And then whatever that is over here, which is my before, I do not know how much is this. I do not know how much is this, but I know that the total is 285. What happens is this person used 45, so this is the change. Remember to flush it to the left-hand side. Okay, now once you are done with that, what you want to do next is, of course, you want to, all right, tell me, all right, that for blue itself, since it is 40%, this is 40 over 100. We change that to 4 over 10. We reduce that to 2 over 5. Now, but I can't do anything to my blue change. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tackle sentence number 3 first, right? Why? Wow, if you want to put something here, you can. But remember, it's 2 over 5 off. That means you are going to times the blue. But do you know how much is blue? You do not know. You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, okay, don't worry. You just write on first, okay, write on. And you realize one thing for sure is that the ratio of the number of red bits to blue bits n hat was 1:3. So this is my after. Now, remember, if we are doing ratio, it is always units and parts. If we are doing fractions and percentages, then it will most of the time, it will be rainbow. Okay, you must know the difference. And if this is units and parts, I'll put U and P over there. Okay, so therefore, for my red will be 1 part. For my blue will be 3 parts. Okay, so you work backwards and you realize that this is 1 part because this 45 is used, right? So this is minus. So therefore, this is 1 part plus 45. Okay, now, so from here itself, right, what can I say? I can confidently say one thing, because this is 2 over 5, right? Isn't it true to say that this is 5 over 5? And isn't it true to say that this is 3 over 5? And if this is 3 over 5, and it's 3 parts, isn't it true to say that this is 2 parts? And if 2 over 5 is 2 parts, isn't it true to say that this is 5 parts? And when I have this, I know that 1 part plus 45 plus 5 parts is equals to 285. So you might want to write this out, of course, all right? Because we want to find whatever we can find. We get to 285. Over here, parts and parts together, same family seat together, right? So 6 parts plus 45 is equals to 285. Now, same family seat together, bring the 45 over. When you bring it over, you minus, right? So 6 parts is equals to 285 minus 45. Okay, so when I do 285 minus 45, we get to 6 parts is equals to 240. We find 1 part. 240 divided by 6, we get to 40. Now, I believe I have over-delivered. What do I mean? I have answered more than what the question wants us to find. The question says, what fraction of her blue bits did N use? Oh, I already got it, what? Isn't the answer over here? Okay. All right, now they want a fraction, right? So therefore, this has to be 2 over 5. Okay, answer simplest form. This is already in the simplest form. The question says, how many bits did N have in the end? Cast your eyes onto the part that talks about in the end. So are they referring to red or blue, or are they referring to everything? They are referring to everything. So therefore, okay, over here, you get to 4 parts, and 4 parts is basically equals to 40 times 4, and therefore your answer is 160. Now, if you're wondering why 4 parts, because they want in the end, and on my left-hand side is 1 part, on my right-hand side is 3 parts. When you add them up together, that gives you 4 parts, and therefore your answer for this question is 160 for B, and then 2 over 5 for A, and you are awarded 4 marks, just like that. Hi everyone, today we are looking at this question and we can obviously see that this is a volume question, right? Now the first thing I want to do is this, they tell us that the base area of X is 30 centimeters squared. So this is the one. So what you want to do is you want to quickly write down base area equals to 30 centimeters squared. And the base of Y has dimensions as shown. So what I want to do is I want to quickly find out, all right? Since I know that the base area of Y is actually 30 times 9, right? Quickly write down 30 times 9. Okay, so 30 times 9, so that gives me 270. We go on to the next part. They say X contains 780 centimeter cube of water. So how much water is inside? 780 centimeter cube. Now, Y empty, right? Now, so the question wants us to find height. Guys, you got to be very sensitive, and you probably have heard this 1,000 times from me, right? I'm quite naggy when it comes to such things. Whenever you see height, it is always volume over base area. It is always volume over base area. Let's talk about the height of water level in X. So to find X itself, okay, or in fact, I would say height of X would then be 780 divided by 30, and you get to an answer of 23 cm. Now, I just want to show you something, okay? 780 is centimeter cube. This is cm square. So that's why when you cancel, right, you realize that this is cm1, but we don't write cm1, but we just put cm, okay? So once I'm done with this, right, I read in B, all right, it says that Sam poured some water from X, you must see from where to where. I love to draw the arrow from X into Y without spilling. That means some of the water from X goes into Y. After that, the height of the water level of X was the same as that of Y. Very critical sentence, very important sentence. Okay, allow me to just explain a little bit on this. Okay, now when they say that the height of the water level is the same for both, here's what you need to do. Okay, whenever that happens, right, you have to combine the base area. Okay, so for this is A, all right. So now for B itself, right, what are we going to do? We are going to combine the base area. So the total base area, just now remember I found that the base area for X is 30, which was given, and the base area for Y was 270. So what I want to do is I want to do 30 plus 270, and that gives me 300 centimeter square. Once I'm done with that, I ask myself, how much water did I have? You remember how Y is empty, right now? So because Y is empty, the volume that you only have is 780. So what you want to do is simply just do 780. In fact, I would say volume divided by the base area. And what do you think this is? This is the height. You understand what I'm saying? All right, so 780 over the base area is 300, okay? So when you do 780 over 300, you realize that your answer will then be 2.6 cm. 2.6 cm. Okay, now the question is asking us, how much water did Sam pour into Y? After some water from X goes into Y, what happens is that we realize that the height becomes 2.6. Now, they want us to find how much water did it pour, right? The base area will not change. Please understand that the base area never changes, okay? So therefore, you do 30 times 9, okay? To find the volume of Y, we have to do 30 times 9 times 2.6. Therefore, your answer will then be 702 centimeter cube, and this is your answer for B. Hi everyone, today we are looking at question number 16. Now, as you can see over here, right, it says that we saved $60 in February. So what we are going to do, we are going to write down that February is actually equals to $60. Sentence number 2 says, this amount. What do I mean by this amount? We are referring to this amount in February was a 20% increase from what she saved in January. So January is over here, what? You understand what I'm saying? So when I see something like that, right, whenever there's like a percentage and then it talks about more than less than, we call this CAM, comparison among multiple quantities. What do? Find your base. January 100%. Okay, now, so because they say that February is a 20% increase from what she saved in January, January is 100% your 100%. All right, January is what I call my base. Very important concept. And if January is my base, then February will be my 120%. Okay, please remember that. Right, so those of you who got it right, you get more pearls in your bubble tea. Okay, now, so what I want to do is I want to quickly find out what is the value, right? If I tell you that 120% is actually equals to $60, you want to find 10% first. You divide by 12. What do you get? 60 divided by 12, right? You get to 5. Okay, so why do I say it's 12? Because from 120 to 10, you divide by 12 over here, right? Then over here, you also divide by 12. Okay, then you quickly find out how much is it in January, and that is actually $50. Now, this makes a lot of sense, right? Can I just get you to do this? You see, I cancel the word this amount. I will put $60 was a 20% increase from what she saved in January, which is $50. So $60 is definitely more than January. So remember this, remember this, remember this. Now, once you are done with this, you draw a line, okay, you go on to the second part. They always like to ask the second part. In fact, the third sentence, the amount she saved in March, oh my goodness, was a 15% decrease. You remember just now I said, right? The one that has more can never be the base. The one that has lesser can never be the base. February, I am now comparing to March. March was a 15% decrease. March is not the base. You understand what I'm saying? March is not the base. Hey, why I write base? March is not the base. Okay, so March is not the base. February is the base. If February is the base, February is 100%. And do you remember February is still $60? Then what is March? March will be 100% minus 15%, and that gives me 85%. Teacher Joseph, why is February still $60? Just now 120%, now 100%. Now, let me ask you a question. If today I'm this with some spiky hair, compared to another person who is this short, okay? Now, when I compare Joseph compared to this person called A, you fill it up yourself. Now, who is taller? Joseph is taller. Agree so far? All right, so this makes me, maybe I am 161 cm. This person is 108 cm. Okay? Now, but when Joseph compares himself to another person that is this tall, all right, Joseph is not taller, that is true, but then Joseph is still 161 cm. This person is called Daniel, maybe. All right, so Daniel is like 287 cm. So you see, my value does not change. That is the reason why my February's value does not change. You understand what I'm saying? So if I know that 100% is actually equals to $60, I want to find first 1%. Okay, if some of you prefer 10%, go ahead with that. All right, we simply just have to do 60 divided by 100. Okay, then you will get to an answer of 0.60, and we find 85% because this is for March. So times 85, you get to $51. So we know that in March, right, it is what? You see, I changed the word March. I say March, or I changed the word, the amount $51 was a 15% decrease. That means it was 15% lesser than what she saved in February. Okay, sentence 1, sentence 2, sentence 3, done. Answer A. A says what? What was the total amount? The total amount is January, $50, February, $60, March, $51. When you add them up together, you get to $161. Okay, so this part is that. Now, and then for B, right? For B itself, they ask us, what was the percentage increase in the amount really saved in March compared to January? Don't worry. Ask yourself, whenever they ask for percentage increase, what comes to my mind first? I must always have percentage increase over original times 100. What is the percentage increase? Okay, or in fact, I would say, maybe, sorry, I shouldn't have said it this way. I should have said change over your original times 100%. I apologize, it shouldn't be percentage increase. Scrape that. It should be change over your original because they're asking us for the percentage increase, okay? Now, why times 100? Because they're asking us for the percentage increase. Now, what is the change? The change is simply, ask yourself, how much do I have in March? Let me highlight it for you. I have this in March. How much do I have in January? I have this in January. What is the change? $51 minus $50 over what is the original? The original always have to be the one that is the earliest. So January of March, you tell me which one is earlier. Of course, January, right? So this is original, which is $50. So when you times 100, you realize that 51 minus 50, you get 1 over 50 times 100, you get to 2% increase. Okay, and therefore this is my answer for this question. In a shop, candles are sold only in boxes. You either buy 7 short candles that will cost you $2.50, or you buy 5 long candles that will cost you $3.20. Okay, now this person wants to buy 19 short candles and 3 long candles, and she is asking, can I buy or can I spend the least amount of money? Okay, what is the least amount of money? So if this person is going to buy 19 short candles, okay, so this is the short ones, this is the long one, as you can see over here. What are we going to do? We are going to at least start from short. Okay. Now for short candles, if I have 19 short candles, that means I will do 19 divided by 7. When I do 19 divided by 7, I get to 2.7 something, right? So you just write down 2, all right, boxes, and then there is a remainder 5. Okay, that means to say you need to have at least, so need to have at least, so I can write over here, need to have at least 3 boxes of short. Okay, need to have at least 3 boxes of short. Now, I know that 1 box is 250, so 3 boxes of short will then be 3 times 250. Okay, and that gives me $7.50. So she has no choice, because if she doesn't buy, if she says, I'm just going to buy 2 boxes, she will only have 14 candles. 14 short candles. But so no choice. I need to buy 21 short candles. Why 21? Because 3 boxes, right? 1 box 7 times 3, 21. So she'll have extra 2. Maybe 2 give to Wing. Okay? Let's talk about the long one. She said, I want 3 long candles. So no choice. This person, what does she have to do? She will have to buy at least. Need to have at least, right? Because you have 3, but then they sell in packets of 5. So you need to have, so you can write down need to have at least 1 box of long. Now, 1 box of long means 1 times, remember it's 320, yeah, no longer 250, yeah. When you add them up together, all right, so they ask the least amount, right? You add them up together, 750 plus 320, we get to an answer of how much? $10.70. Okay, so this is my answer for A. Now, so what are we going to do now? Now, we are going to look at the next one. Now, as you can see over here, it says that Eva bought 21 more long candles than short candles from the shop. Now, so what I'm going to write down, or in fact, since I see the word more, right, I know I need to draw a model. So I know I'm going to use maybe another color to show you that this is part B, okay? So for part A, I'm just going to do it here, okay? Now, for the long candles, I'm going to show this, and then for the short candles, I'm going to show this, okay? Now, for the long candles, I know that it is what? 21 more than the short one. Okay? For the long candles, I know it is 21 more than the short one. Okay? Now, where is that 21? That 21 has to be over here. Okay? Now, the key word here is this. We don't know what is the total, right? We don't know what is the total. But what I can say for sure is this part. The total number of candles she bought was fewer than 50. So if it's fewer than 50, it means it can be anywhere from 1 to 49. But you know, logically speaking, you know cannot be 1, right? Okay? So how are we going to do this? Okay, very simple. First thing first, same thing. All right, if it's the long candle must always be 21 more than the short candle. So in some sense, right, when I solve this question, right, I used a little bit of guess and check. What I'm trying to say is that the long candle must always be, you must always add 21, all right, and then plus the short candle, all right, then the total will then be, the total over here will be less than 50. Less than 50. Okay, now I just want you to remember for the long candles, okay, for the long candles, right, they have to be in multiples of 5, okay, and for the short candles, they have to be in multiples of 7. All right, they have to be in multiples of 7. So I'm going to start off by writing down that the short candle is 7. I'm going to start simple. So if the short candle is 7, isn't this also 7? So 7 and 21. So this is the total. As you can see over here, this is the total number of long candles. This is the total number of long candles. So let's add them up together. 7 plus 21 is 28. So I'm just going to show that I'm what they're trying to say. I have 28 long candles. 28 plus 7 is 35. 35, right? And then my difference, right? My difference must be 21, which is already over there. So over here, from here to here is 28, correct? This is 7. But for short, right, it has to be in boxes of 7. And for longer, it has to be in boxes of 5. So this is not true because 28 is not divisible by 5. So cannot. Okay, so I'm going to try the next one. So this one, tak boleh, cannot. So I'm just going to cancel it away. Okay, now I'm going on to the next one. We start from the short again. Short has to be in multiples of 7, right? So short will be, say, for example, 14. So if now this is 14, if now this is 14, this is 14 also, we are going to write that this is 14 plus 21, 35, right? 35. That means to say everything over here is 35. Okay. This is 14. Total is 49. This might work. So I write 49 over here. All right. Now let's ask ourselves, is 35 a multiple of 5? Yes. So 35 multiple 5. Yes. Is 14 a multiple of 7? Yes. Very good. So therefore, and is it below 50? Is it below 50? Yes. So therefore, right, when I look at this question, right, the question asks, how much did Eva spend on the candles altogether? Very simple. You know you have 35 long. And you learn from this question, right, that 5 long candles is actually equals to $3.20. So 35 long, right, you just have to times 7 to this side. So you simply do 320 times 7. Over here, you get to $22.40. Okay, so this is the first part. Let's talk about the short ones. 7 short candles, you will get how much? $2.50. And if you have 14 shots, you will do $5. Because how do I get from here to here? You times 2. Okay, now, so therefore the total amount, right, that Eva needs to spend on the candles altogether is simply just $22.40 plus $5, and therefore your answer for this question has to be $27.40.